Science has always been the foundation of development and crucial to how we understand our world. Without science, we wouldn't be able to grasp the concept of gravity and the complexity of the human DNA. We wouldn't have invented vaccines, the car, the space rocket, the internet or the smartphone. But even though we have come a long way, there are still plenty of challenges in the future that we need science and imaginative scientists to solve.
It's essential that people reappropriate urban space, which for so long has been colonized by functionalist urban planning.
Biologically, Homo sapiens is a walking animal, and throughout the history of the urban settlements, they've been made for walking.
The world is being urbanized. Copenhagen, New York and Melbourne are regarded as the most livable cities. They have all been taking advice from the famous Danish architect and urban development consultant, Jan Gehl. For 40 years, he has advocated that urban livability depends on how squares and streets between buildings are designed. They are the human spaces of the city. The challenge is now how to inspire the fast-growing cities in the developing world.
Some years ago, I had a good talk with the planning minister of Vietnam, and we discussed what will happen in the future when the cities grow so fast. And he would say that we are all dreaming to have a car each, and I know it would be congestion and pollution and it would be mayhem in the cities, but we cannot jump over any steps, and you cannot expect us to learn of errors you have done. So it will take quite a while until we reach a stage where again we will think that bicycling is a good idea in this country.
Jan Gehl trusts the problems with massive pollution, particularly in Asia, will push ahead development. And then the important thing is to be ready to set an example. International urban development speaks of the concept to Copenhagenize.
We have seen here in Copenhagen a rather interesting example, because in School of Architecture in Copenhagen we were the first to start to study how people use cities, and then we could see an interesting interplay between the town hall and the School of Architecture. That we did the research, but the town hall, they picked up the research and used that to formulate new policies.
What has been the driving force of Jan Gehl throughout the years in urban development is what we have most in common.
We are all Homo sapiens and have had the same history and have the same aspirations, and when we see a nice place in Japan or in Dubai or in Venice or in Canada, we can recognize it right away because it corresponds with some deep needs in our body and in our human development.
In the universities, the humanities urban researchers also investigate how Homo sapiens acquire and discover the city. Their way of looking at this is necessary input for Jan Gehl, urban planners and politicians.
If you look at a map, your bicycle trip may just look like a simple line between A and B, but in reality, riding your bicycle in the city is a fascinating way of living with other people whom you don't know. We are anonymous, but we still relate and also adjust to each other on the bicycle lane or when we're waiting at a traffic light. In this way, we perceive the city, but we also think about our own life. The basic design of a bicycle lane, how large it is and what kind of surface it has, all this affects our view of the city and of life itself.
The urban researchers predict that the next step in the humanities urban development come to include the city's outlying areas and suburbs. The researchers are in particular interested in the transport and distance, or what they call the necessary movements.
Nowadays, the time we spend commuting from home to work and back again is only seen as a waste of time, even as an economic loss. But you could also think of these daily movements as something valuable, as real opportunities for spatial experiences and cultural encounters. That might change motorways, train lines, and metro tunnels into places for human meditation and pleasure.
To promote quality in city living, the public need a fundamental respect for and understanding of what the researchers call urban life worlds.
When politicians talk about certain areas as ghettos, the word ghetto itself is a negative judgment. With this stereotype, it becomes impossible to understand all the kinds of human life which actually take place here and which count in the histories of urban citizens. Life is neither black nor white. It's your life and it's my life. And these lives should be taken seriously if we want to know what urban culture is all about.